to tonight's Livingston Parish Council meeting. Let's go ahead and get started. Today being October 26th, 2023, 6 o'clock p.m. here at the Parish Council Chambers. All notices have been sent out, so this will be an official meeting of the Livingston Parish Council.
Thanks.
Before we get started, I believe we usually have an invocation, and today Mr. Talbert you're in the queue, I believe, for the invocation. Did you?
Ms. Teal's going to handle it.
Ms. Teal's going to do that for you. Ms. Sandy, would you lead us in an invocation, please?
Heavenly Father, Lord, we just want to acknowledge your goodness and your grace and our need. Please let your will be done tonight. Please give the council members and our attorney and all our leaders the wisdom and the knowledge they need to make decisions on behalf of people that they work with. Acknowledge that you're sovereign and that you have purpose and
Amen. Mr. DeLatte, would you be so kind as to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. Ms. Sandy, would you call the roll to make sure we have a quorum here tonight?
Mr. Hart,
Here.
Mr. Westcomb,
Here.
Mr. Brownhouse,
Here.
Mr. Talbot,
Here.
Mr. King,
Here.
Mr. Meyer,
Here.
Mr. Delat,
Here.
Ms. Sandifer. Here. Mr. Miller is absent.
He's absent, all right. Also, just a simple reminder, just check your cell phones to make sure we don't have any major interruptions tonight. Also, public input will be allowed when a specific item comes up. Again, you need to talk about that particular item, and try to keep your comments to 3 minutes or less, and then try not to repeat someone else if they're speaking. There is a specific item that I was asked to pull up, or actually a couple of them. So, real quick, at the last item on the agenda, item 30, under District Attorney Reports, Mr. Moody requested that this item be placed on the agenda for an executive session for Ascension Properties for the Deer Run rezoning of Deer Run property as per the settlement agreement. That is on the agenda. However, I believe Mr. Moody said that they want to pull that item from the agenda tonight. So, reason I'm bringing that up now, so you don't have to wait all the way through the meeting. If you're here to talk about that, it will not come up tonight. So I just want to let everyone know that. We will not talk about that tonight. Item 23.
Say something about
Ms. Sandifer, go ahead.
I do. I have a question. Why did you pull it from the agenda tonight?
Well, this was placed on the agenda at the request of the landowner. And just like any other landowner that's requested a zoning change, this one came as part of the settlement agreement we had with them. Under the settlement agreement, we have agreed to consider that, but before the end of the year. And so, you know, it's their request for the change. They wanted to pull it tonight, so.
Who is the landowner?
Ascension Properties is the developer, and forget the name of the landowner.
I'm not asking the name of the developer. Since the landowner put it on the agenda, I would like their name.
Well, I only have their lawyer's name. Mr. Easterly's here. He might be able to answer that.
So we don't know who wants to put something on our agenda?
Well, we do know the names. I just don't have. I can't remember it. Mr. Easterly represents them.
Can Mr. Easterly come up and tell us who he represents? The landowner?
Can y'all hear it in the back okay? All right. Billy? Okay.
Hi, good evening. Tom Easterly, 450 Laurel Street, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and I represent Ascension Properties Incorporated, which is the proposed developer for Deer Run. The property is owned by a limited liability company, which is Livingston Holdings Limited Liability Company.
So you represent Ascension Properties and limited liability, what did you call it?
No, ma'am, I represent Ascension Properties, I do not represent Livingston Holdings. Livingston Holdings LLC has separate counsel, but Livingston Holdings requested the rezoning change through a letter that was written to the council several months ago. Through Mr. Moody, we had requested that this item be placed on the agenda, and I requested it on behalf of Ascension Properties. We would like to postpone it and pull it
May
from
I
the agenda.
ask why?
Why I'd like to
Why
postpone
would you,
it?
like, yes.
Because we would like for it to be heard later at another meeting, not tonight.
But I'm asking you, why do you want it not heard tonight? And here's why I'm asking you, and I'll clarify. Because people come to the meetings, and we pull things when certain council are not here. So that swings the vote in a particular direction, and it just stays on the agenda and gets pulled until that moment when you can get it passed. And the people of Livingston Parish are really kind of fed up with it, and so are the ones that make time to come to the meetings to hear this. So I want to know why it's pulled.
Let's go ahead, Mr. Easterly.
Well, I don't have anything else to say per se. I understand Ms. Sandifer's grievance and her statement, and I respect her grievance. Obviously, I filed a lawsuit in federal court and named Ms. Sandifer as an individual defendant, and so we've had our differences in the past. Like I've said before, I think at the ordinance committee meeting, and I think before at parish council meeting, I'm always going to be respectful to this group. And I'm not here to raise my voice or shout or get into a squabbling match about this, that, or the other. We'd simply like to postpone it and pull it from the agenda tonight.
I'm not really asking for you to defend it. I'm sorry if you feel offended. I'm trying to understand, and I don't really understand why you're asking for a rezone since a federal judge overturned my zoning according to the settlement. So why are you asking for a rezone?
Ma'am, I didn't come here tonight, respectfully. I didn't come here tonight to answer all your questions. If we're engaged in a back and forth process, then I have lots of questions that I would like to ask of you, but I think that it would be inappropriate for us to go back and forth with one another.
I'm open to any questions you might have, but I don't understand. You're on my agenda. You're in my district on my agenda, and I would like to know why you're asking for a rezone since a federal judge overturned mine.
The landowner would like the property to be rezoned, I think, is the simplest way to answer your question. And to further that, the request that was submitted by the landowner several months ago resulted in no response whatsoever from you. And I can't recall whether that request was made at a time when you were still a defendant in the lawsuit. I can't remember whether that request was made before or after the judgment issued by the federal court that nullified and voided the zoning map that you had pursued and that you had presented to the council to be enacted. But I think that answers your question, ma'am.
It doesn't answer my question. I'm so sorry. I don't understand why you're asking for a rezone if there's no zoning.
Well, respectfully, I think I did answer your question. I may not have told you what you wanted to hear, but I think that I did answer your question.
Can you answer it again in a couple of sentences so we can move on?
Yes, ma'am, because the landowner wishes for the property to be rezoned, and the developer does as well.
Property is not zoned. The judge overturned my zoning.
Okay.
So I don't understand why you're asking for a rezone.
If we're just,
Thank you.
If we're just talking about whether it's rezoning versus zoning anew, then perhaps what I said earlier was not artfully said, but we would like for zoning on the property to be implemented, but I think we're splitting hairs whether we say it's zoned versus rezoned. Maybe you and your attorney find some significance to that distinction. And
Well, bottom line, That still really does not answer my question. And the second point that I just need to make to you and to Mr. Moody is I don't appreciate this on the agenda getting pulled when it's not convenient for you to get it passed. You told me earlier this week, Mr. Moody, that you were not going to make any calls on this. I don't understand why you said that, but you did say that. You weren't going to make any calls on this and you were going to discuss it tonight. And now you're pulling it.
I fully expected to consider it tonight. It's been withdrawn at the request of the landowner, and it's their request. I don't know how we can stop them.
I got a suggestion, if I can have the floor, Mr.
Mr.
Chairman.
DeLay, please.
I think it's good business if we say we can put it on the agenda one more time, okay? Not every week. Put it on the agenda one more time. But I don't think it should come underneath your agenda item. I think if they want it, they need to put it on the agenda, not you. You should be working for us, not for them.
And not in an executive session.
Aaron,
Not in an executive session either, because it's public knowledge with public documents that they deserve to see.
All right. Are you ready to move on? All right. Mr. Easterly, is there anything else to say, or, I mean,
No, well, other than there was another item on the agenda that we had asked to be set, which is number 10, and these two items obviously go together, Mr. Chairman, and we would ask that it be pulled as well.
okay.
Or
Okay.
deferred.
Okay. Item 10,
Yes, sir.
all right. Mr. DeLay, you're good with that?
No, I'm not.
Why are you pulling?
I got the same thing. I'm also named in a lawsuit, I guess. They can pull it when you show up and not pull it when you're not here. So again, this came from the Livingston Parish Planning and Zoning Commission, and I don't see where it's got Tom's name or his client's name anywhere on it.
So, you want to pick it up tonight, or you want to?
No, I want it on there. I mean, unless administration calls me, unless Leighton Ricks calls and says he wants to pull it, or Sam wants to pull it, they the one that put it on. I don't see Tom's name or his company's name.
Okay. Well,
I agree.
so, I mean, this would, if we're going to jump into that item, then the first thing would be authorize approval of preliminary plat for the Woodlands. Is that, you want to discuss that, or you want to just wait and pick it up?
I'm ready to discuss it.
All right.
Still on 7.
He said you're on 7.
Well,
I think he wants to clear it off the.
yeah, I was just trying to clear this off the agenda, I mean, while Mr. Easterly's here. So, well, first of all, item 23 is, 30 has now been pulled.
And
Ms. Sandifer?
shame. That's all I can say. I don't know who you think you are.
Okay.
Just pulling it off the agenda, but when it's convenient for you.
Well, let's keep on going. And since Mr. Easterly here, and are you the one that requested item 10?
I personally did not know, sir, but I'm here to speak on it.
But you're here to speak on that. All right, well, this is in Mr. Delat's district, so I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Delat and
Well, the
get-
presentation ought to come from planning, I think. It's part of their report. It can be
we can
taken
wait
up now.
and let the planning, inform the planning for them to come at the, planning's already heard this, I believe.
Did it pass the time?
They
I
didn't
don't think it did.
Identify-
I have the information from planning if anybody needs it.
Ms. Delat.
Dee Dee Delat with the Permit and Building Department for Administration. I'm here on behalf of Mr. Ricks. He told me on this particular item on Planning Commission that he got with Tracy, and Sam did, and that y'all were aware of what the Planning Commission's determinations were on each of the items for Planning Commission. So you
I
can
have that
move-
information.
You can move forward with the items from the Planning Commission agenda because someone appears aware.
Okay, I'm ready.
Not on all these items, but okay.
Item 10I, or 10-1, would be authorized to approve the preliminary plat for the Woodlands, Louisiana Highway 444 to move forward. Do you have a
Yes.
preference on that?
Do I have the chair? Okay. I won't need to ask you anything, Mr. Tom, if you want to sit down. I won't need to ask you anything. I want to speak to the audience.
Okay. I'll defer to you, but I would like to say a
You're
few
going to have
words on
that
the rest of it at the
opportunity. You're
appropriate
going to have
time.
that opportunity. There's a lot of people in the audience that have a concern about 10, been fighting this for about a year, year and a half. And I'm speaking to you, the audience, the people that this subdivision affects. I think this is about as great as deal you're going to get. I really, really believe if the developer and the engineer would have started off here, that's all you ever asked for. And I think we wouldn't have had this fight we got now. I'm going to recommend we move forward. I want to give a little credit to Gerald McMorris. He has worked hard to negotiate the deal. And in my talking to several of the neighbors in this area, this is all they ever wanted. There's one little bit of problem here, and that's going to be the waiver on a sewer. According to solid waste, the state solid waste, the parish will still have to maintain that. So I have a meeting scheduled with them to see what that maintenance is required. If it goes to the roadside ditch, that's easy. But if you got to have a lateral ditch or something going to canal, you got to have property right-of-ways and different things. I'm just asking y'all to let me table it just for 2 weeks or just 1 week, and we have a special meeting or whatever. At least 2 weeks so I can have that meeting with state DOTD. I believe most everybody, you can't satisfy 100% of the people, but I believe we got 80 to 85% satisfied. I believe this is the best way to go about doing it, is to accept it. I just can't ask for the waiver for the sewer until I have that meeting with them.
Randy,
That's good to know.
is that because the way the design is set up, it requires a comprehensive drainage plan, and if a drainage plan is not a roadside ditch, you don't have an agency design to clean? So basically what you're saying is if you granted the waiver, then the engineering firm would have to design all the sewer to run through roadside ditches?
But I'm not saying that's necessary. There's a canal there.
Right, I got you.
I'm not saying it has to go to roadside. I just want to know what parish's responsibility is going to be. I really know. The waiver for the drainage is not a problem. I just got to know what the parish's responsibility is.
Motion to defer for 2 weeks?
Well,
Okay.
yeah, but I mean, basically, the number of lots falls within the state guidance on the number of lots with the drainage plan. We were the one that limited it to 90 in our ordinance. So basically, it follows state law. The only concern I think that Randy has is that the comprehensive drainage plan, you're worried about if it drains to the big lateral ditch in there?
No, not that. It's not the drainage. The state solid waste department says it has to go to the roadside, so you have to give.
Well, it has to go to a publicly maintained ditch.
Correct.
Right,
Which means it would be maintained by Livingston Parish, and he wants to make sure that we
So
get
all
all
the
that
roadside
situated.
ditches would be, the laterals are the problem.
But all the things can't go to the roadside ditch. All the lots can't go there.
Yeah.
So I got you. So you're worried about roads that,
But you'll know that.
on the
I wouldn't know
laterals?
that. It may be the state may have some concessions. It may be it's an easy no-brainer. It says we go ahead, we
Let's just
maintain
defer
this.
it.
You
2
the
weeks to the next
man,
meeting.
man. You the man. You coming.
I want to defer for 2 weeks. I'd like
Motion
to
by
make a motion.
Mr. Randy to defer for 2 weeks to the next council meeting, seconded by
Mr.
Mr. King.
This is all three items or just A?
This is for item 10A, 1, 2, and
Okay, we
3.
do them all.
Well,
do
y'all
all at one
defer
time.
all three, because they don't need to grant the first two and then not have the
Don't
sewer
do the
waiver.
third.
Just
Yeah, just do the
defer
whole
all
item.
three of them for 2 weeks.
Okay,
Chair.
yes, for 10A, 1, 2, and 3.
And Tom, we're
Ms.
here in
Sandiford,
2
you had
weeks.
a
Yeah,
comment.
We're
because
here in 2
the
weeks.
planning commission was brought up. I do have the information from the planning commission. I got it from the chairman, Joe Kozrowski. This was voted unanimously from the planning commission to not approve, and that was their recommendation. I wanted that to be set on public record because it was brought up.
Yes.
And ma'am, my understanding is that they thought that this was the correct political body to grant a waiver or a variance, and that they did not have the ability to do that. So that was my understanding as to why they made that vote, but just wanted to add that. Thank
My
you, Mr.
understanding was we just understand it two different ways. I would certainly expect you to see it that way, but this came from the chairman of the board this morning.
Fair enough.
All right, we have a motion by Mr. Delat, a second by Mr. King. No more discussion? Let's call for the vote, Ms. I'm sorry? Was there any discussion on this particular item?
So,
I heard somebody saying something, so I don't guess.
I'm pulling it, so.
You want to call for the vote on this one?
Mr. Ard?
Yes.
Mr. Wasson?
Yes.
Mr. Burlington?
Yes.
Mr. Talbot?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Mack?
Yes.
Mr. Delat?
Yes.
Yes.
It passes.
Can I make a comment?
Yeah, one second. He didn't show up on the iPads.
I'm not doing it because I have it set up different.
That's fine. Okay, Mr. Delat had a quick comment.
Putting it in.
I know that some of y'all,
Voice comment, voice vote.
I know some of y'all may be disappointed, but guys, this is the best we're going to do underneath the circumstances. And I'm committed to doing the best we can, and I think we fought it, and this is exactly what we're looking for at the end. We had the list sewer problem. I think the state and the parish is going to work together to solve it.
Sandy, when you talk or somebody use your mic on your, pull it towards you. Okay, so that item's pulled. There's also one more item I'd like to bring up real quick, item 23. This particular item is adopt a resolution to give authorization and approval to the parish legal advisor, Mr. Moody, to write a letter on behalf of the Livingston Parish Council to address with the Crossing Apartments Responsibility Party about the several health hazards conditions at the apartment complex. Ms. Sandifer, I'll put this on the agenda. Is there anyone here to speak for this particular item? I think you'd mentioned that they might want to come talk.
Yes, ma'am.
Are they here?
She sure is.
Okay, if you would, come up to the podium, give us your name, address, and if you can, try to keep it in a very, consecutive, timely manner. I appreciate it.
Hello, my name is Wendy Moss. I live at the Crossing Apartments on Buddy Ellis Road, Building 9, Unit 71. I want to thank you for allowing me to speak on behalf of myself and other tenants at the Crossing Apartments. I have brought with me some other tenants that may want to speak on their grievances and their complaints as well. I've been a tenant at the Crossing since July of 2017. My 2 children and I moved into the Crossing as we were displaced by the flood of 2016. We lived in a hotel until we relocated. I have a special needs 15-year-old that is a high-functioning autistic child with ADHD and respiratory issues. He has asthma and severe allergies. He has a 504 and an IEP plan in place, and he attends Walker High School. I also have a 9-year-old who I brought with me today, who's going to help me in just a second. He attends South Fork Elementary. May he approach and give y'all some pictures, some printed out pictures? Okay, baby, come on. When we first moved into the Crossing, it was a great, clean place to live. The grounds were kept up. It had a nice pool, a patio area, and a small playground for the kids. This was a welcome change from living in a hotel room close to a year. About 8 or 9 months after we moved into the Crossing, the then head manager, Tina Palladina, embezzled a lot of money from the complex. She also allowed unqualified people to move in. After that, the care of the property and the quality of the residents has never recovered. It went down, and it went down very fast. Maintenance issues were neglected. Pest control no longer was taken care of on a timely basis, and sometimes not for months at a time. The grounds began to go down. Trash overfilled filled the parking lots. Dumpsters stayed full and not emptied on a regular basis. Furniture outside of the dumpsters accumulated, much as it is in the same condition right now. And those are the pictures I gave you. Some mentally challenged residents would take the furniture by the dumpsters and put them in their units, causing an infestation of roaches and bed bugs in some units. I know many of the residents at the Crossing, and there is no such thing as preventative maintenance at our complex. We have had to purchase our own pest control products over the counter to keep the roaches and the bed bugs at bay. We are living with grease traps and sewage backups in our sinks, our toilets, and our tubs. Frequently, they flood onto the carpet, where many tenants have to get it cleaned at their own expense. There is mold and mildew in almost every unit. The air-conditioned filters never get changed, and this is another violation of the Crossing in our lease. There is always air conditioner leaks inside the units, causing mold and water damage to sheetrock. In many units, the mold has just been merely painted over, and when new tenants move in, all they smell is fresh paint, but just give it a while and they'll start smelling it and seeing the mold. We have been through periods when a manager and a maintenance person is not on site. Currently, there is a note on the crossing door that states, if you need to pay your rent or you have any maintenance issues, go to Morningside. When we get to Morningside, we are told that there is nothing that they can do to help us with any maintenance issues, and they have no answers to our questions. On October the 16th, I had to pay an out-of-expense pocket to get my AC fixed because no one would respond. I left message after message and even contacted the emergency line with no return. This was hard for me to afford. I had to get it fixed because my special needs child needs airflow due to his health issues. Sorry. I have my invoice and my receipt, but my fear is if I withhold it from my rent, I will be in violation of my lease. The crossing is about 60% occupancy right now. There are lots of vacant apartments due to people moving because there is such serious maintenance issues not being taken care of. They are the lucky ones that had the extra money and they found somewhere to go in their income bracket. Most of the remaining tenants either have a Section 8 voucher or they are low-income tenants that have nowhere else to go, and they are not being aided in relocating at all. Many tenants at the crossing feel that CST management isn't fixing anything because they have sold the property and they don't have to, and we don't even know who our new owners are. The majority of the negligence falls on CST Management Group and the previous owners of the crossing apartments. Upon my own research, I found that CST Management Group frequently hired contractors and vendors that were left unpaid. In many cases, contractors and vendors walked off the job because they didn't get their payment hadn't been met. Frequently, managers and maintenance staff that truly wanted to help turn the property around would quit due to the fact that they were stretched too thin or they just couldn't take the pressure of the complaining tenants that they couldn't help. Many tenants, including myself, have taken the proper channels to include contacting and emailing the Board of Health, the Attorney General's Office, the Compliance Department of Livingston, HUD, the Section 8 and Housing Authority Office, and the Livingston Parish Sanitation Department. The emotional stress is overwhelming on the tenants. Our complex has become an eyesore, somewhat of a Sanford and Son. The parking lot is caving in areas, and there is raw sewage on the ground at the overflow drains for several of the buildings. The grass remains uncut from 2 to 5 weeks during the summer months. Just as more and more window unit air conditionings are being seen in the windows, more and more crime and vandalism is taking place. Our front gate, as is promised to us in our lease, has not been working in several years. This has led to break-ins and car vandalization. There are no functioning security cameras, and there is poor to little lighting from the middle of the complex all the way back. And now we're here, we're led to the parish council asking for help. It would greatly benefit the parish and the city to see this property restored. We are located in a booming area of growth in the parish. We are within a stone's throw of Juban Crossing, and we are living in fear of crime and vandalism. This should have never happened. A tax credit property with Section 8 and low-income tenants does not have to be like this. If it's managed properly, the property should be maintained and valued as any other properties. So how did we get here? The extent to which the property has declined should never have been allowed. It can be turned around. We are, as tenants, are asking that you help hold the crossing and its previous owners responsible for getting this complex back up to code. And in closing, I want to thank you for hearing my voice and the voice of other tenants at the Crossing Apartments. And I want to give special thanks to Ms. Erin Sandifer for working with me and directing me on how to get help in this matter. Thank you very much.
What is your name again, please?
Wendy Moss.
Wendy Moss.
Mr. Moody, do you have some recourse for the parish to help?
We're going to look into it really hard. We want to help these people, and I wanted a council vote to give us a little authority behind it. So we'll start with a letter. I'll also meet with your administration people.
Okay.
I don't know where we are on that. Maybe Aaron knows. I mean, if they're probably in violation now of some of your trash and litter and garbage, and they need to be cited, and there's an administrative process you go through for that. And if they don't do it, we can hire a contractor to clean it up and put it on their tax bill. But that's we got to get the administration.
Can you
doing
put in
that.
words a motion that you think would
Yeah,
give you
so
the
we
authority?
We would like. I'd like you to pass a resolution asking the administration to take enforcement action, and then also authorizing me to write a demand letter to the property owners to take action
Motion.
to correct it.
Motion by Ms. Sandifer, second by Mr. Jeff Ard. Is there any more discussion on this particular item?
Yes. I have some tenants that came with me. If they keep it to a bare minimal, they have some they would like to add as well.
I think we got a lot here now.
They did?
Yeah, we.
I'm sure y'all don't want to come up.
Well, I think they're going to all vote for it.
I mean, we're going to get.
Well, I wanna
It's
say-
not going to change the vote. It's not going to change the vote. Thank you so much.
Ms. Moss, thank you so much for taking the time to come up here. It took a lot for her to be able to come up here
Thank y'all.
with her
All
child.
in
Thank
favor
you.
say yes.
Yes.
Is there any opposed to that? Miss Wendy, right? Wendy, thank you so much for your courage to come up and talk and it.
Tough crowd.
Yeah. Try sitting up here sometime. But it's good. It's
Right
good.
behind you something.
Okay, let's see. Item 9, Parish President's Report, Off-System Bridge Program. Adopt a resolution of the annual certification of compliance with the State of Louisiana Off-System Bridge Replacement Program. I spoke with Sam about this. The state comes and inspects our bridges in the parish, certain bridges that's on a list that they have. We just need a resolution authorizing them to do that.
Make the motion.
Motion by Mr. Talbert, seconded by Mr. Deland. Any discussion?
This is the item that Sam talked to me about.
Oh,
Yeah.
he called me about it too. That's fine.
He threw me off on that. I was like, huh?
All in favor say yes?
Yes.
All right, that motion carried. Item 10 is removed. Item 10B, the Preserve at Grace Creek Phase 2, servitude revocation, District 5. Didn't you get some information on this today, I believe, Ms. Sandifer, or
I
someone
did,
here?
and Mr. Billy's here to talk to us about it.
All right.
Mr. Billy. Billy Taylor with Macklin Taylor. So just background on what we're asking for, and then I'll go into what Ms. Aaron and I talked about today. There are some existing servitudes that went from the first filing to the pond for drainage, open drainage ditch, and a roadway to a lift station that are no longer needed. It was designed around, new servitudes were dedicated, so now we're asking to revoke these so they're not encumering lots that are on the plat. So that's what we're asking for. Went through the planning commission, went through the proper process to get here. Today, Ms. Sandifer did call and said she has some calls with some concerns about drainage in the area, and I don't have the specifics yet, and she's working on getting that to me, so I called and talked to Mr. Sam about it as well. He wasn't aware of an exact specific item, or neither was my client, but everybody's agreed that she's going to get us that information, and then we're going to try to get together next week when we get the exact location and look at it. Tonight, we're just asking for introduction of the ordinance, and then we're going to look into her.
For adoption at the next two meetings. Ms. Sandy, you want to read this by title?
This will be proposed ordinance 23-38. It's an ordinance as follows to it: revoking the dedication, abandoning, and quitclaiming in favor of DSLD Homes LLC through certain servitudes identified by the crosshatch portion as shown on the map showing servitude revocations within the Preserve at Grace Creek Phase 2, a residential development located in Sections 9 and 39, Township 7, South Range 3, East Greensburg Land District, Livingston Parish, Louisiana, by Lester A. Macklin, Jr., professional land surveyor, dated July 13, 2023. The public hearing will be at 6 p.m. on November the 6th. I'm sorry, November the 9th.
November 9th, public hearing. I think there's a motion by Ms. Sandifer and a comment. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Grillinghouse. Ms. Sandifer.
I just want to go and state on public record that I'm going to motion to introduce, but I need the drainage issue addressed with the existing residents, and I know we're going to do that. I just needed to go on public record to say it because they're very concerned. Thank you so much, Mr. Taylor.
Thank you, and yeah, just send us that location, exact location, and exact issue, and we're going to look into it.
Will do.
Thanks, Billy.
All right, all in favor say yes.
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 Is there any opposed? Thank you. That motion carries unanimous. Thank you. Thank you, Billy. Item C, Rhonda Properties LLC. This is, again, is a servitude revocation in District 8. Mr. Delat, this is in your district, I believe?
Yes, which number?
C, for Rhonda Properties.
Okay.
It's kind of the same thing, I'm assuming, huh, Billy?
Billy, can you come up and explain that one?
Isn't it the same?
That's BDI.
Oh, okay, over here.
Oh, that's, okay.
Give us your name
I'm
and
sorry.
address.
Seth Mosby, 16709 Amy Lane, French Settlement, 70733. This was something y'all voted on before. We had to get letters of no objection. This was the guy that had an existing road, power poles, phone lines, wanted to relocate the driveway. Then he got prices to relocate everything and decided it's good where it's at. So we're asking to revoke the servitude that he was going to use, that he's no longer using.
Okay, we need to read it by title. Miss Sandy?
This will be proposed ordinance 23-39.
Thank you.
It's ordinance that is a map showing survey and division of track RP1A6 into tracks RP1A6A, RP1A6B, and RP1A6C, and the revocation of a 60-foot private servitude of passage and dedication of a 40-foot all-purpose servitude located in Section 44, Township 8, South Range 4, East Greensburg Land District, Livingston Parish, Louisiana, for Rhonda Properties, LLC, being more particularly described herein. The public hearing will be on November the 9th at 6 p.m.
All right, we have a motion to introduce by Mr. Delat, I'm guessing?
Yes, fine. Yes.
Seconded by Mr. Girlinghouse. Any discussion? All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Is there any opposed? I believe that motion will carry unanimously. It did. Item 11, this is an introduction of an ordinance camping in a public area prohibited. Ms. Sandy, you want to read this one by title as it needs to be for an introduction?
This will be proposed ordinance 23-40. This is an ordinance to amend Chapter 50 offenses miscellaneous by creating Section 50-17, camping in a public area prohibited, of the Code of Ordinances in and for the parish of Livingston as set out more specifically herein, and the public hearing will be on November the 9th at 6 p.m.
All right, Ms. Sandifer, you want to do
me to read
a
it?
quick description and get a motion?
Sure.
Before you do that, Ms. Sandifer, this action, is it time sensitive?
Yeah, it really kind of is, yeah.
All right, continue.
So we have, I've had quite a few complaints from people in the Denham interstate area, business area, where people are camping on the property, behind the property, and it is creating a huge issue, and it is urgent. East Baton Rouge Parish adopted or revised their ordinance, their camping ordinance, in August of last year. And so we don't have anything in place, and we need something in place urgently. And it's going to need, hopefully after we adopt it, in a couple of weeks, we can add to it, because there are some, this isn't on the ordinance, but it's never okay to urinate in public or defecate in public. And so that's tier 2 of the campers, and Livingston Parish can't take it anymore. I've gotten complaints from business owners, from our parks, from PARDS, and from citizens, residents. So
I second it for you.
Got a motion by Ms. Sandifer, second by Mr. Delat. I will say, on this campaign trail, I come across many people in the Denham Springs area that said, please help us with these people camping where they're not supposed to be camping. So we have a motion by Ms. Sandifer, second by Mr. Delat. Is there any discussion?
Can I ask a question, John?
Mr. Talbert.
Aren't most of the interstate overpasses, like the one in Walker, is part of the city of Walker, right? And the one in Livingston is part of the city of Walker now, or is it part of the city of Livingston?
I don't know if it's part of Livingston, but it's not a part of Walker.
I remember they switched it. They switched it
about 9 years ago.
This goes to Walker goes to Satsuma and lives. I mean, the interstate at Denham and Jubin is part of the city of Denham, right? Am I?
Okay.
I mean, are they part of the city of Denham? Those overpasses?
Not yet.
So, I mean, is it going to apply, those overpasses already belong to municipalities that this parish ordinance won't address.
Well, I think, I hate to speak for the mayor, but I think they might be working on an ordinance. Well, I think Ms. Jennifer's maybe spoken to him. And
I have
Mr. Jimmy,
talked
do you
with
know
the
of
mayor.
anything about the city of Denham Springs moving forward?
And I plan to bring it up if it's not already.
So this would probably be a uniform thing that would move forward. I think it will.
It certainly will affect, it'll apply to areas outside of the city.
Absolutely,
You know,
it's
so,
parish.
I don't have a
This is
problem getting ahead of it.
And I'll
It's
tell
just getting
you
ahead of a problem.
that Walker has issues with this and all the way to Tinsboro Parish border. So it's very much needed by our
Motion by Ms.
businesses.
Sandifer, second by Mr. Delat. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Is there any opposed? That motion carries unanimous. All right, item, let's see, 12, I think the animal control, you want to
We'll
pull,
we're going
defer that to the ordinance committee,
to send it
Shane?
to the ordinance
Yeah.
committee meeting.
All right, that'll
Shane, you
be,
going to have one next week, or?
No, it's going to be the Tuesday before the next council meeting.
Okay.
all right, item 13, so that item will, 12 will be pulled. Item 13, public hearing and adoption of LP ordinance number 2336. This probably needs to be read by title. Am I correct, Ms. Sandy? Go ahead and read that.
This is proposed ordinance 23-36. This is an ordinance to create new voting precincts by dividing an existing precinct into 2 precincts.
All right, we had the introduction at the last council meeting. What this is splitting the precincts, and I think we've talked about this in depth. If I hereby hold a public hearing, declare it open. Is anyone here to speak for or against the splitting of the precincts? None being, I'll close the public hearing. Motion by Mr. Girlinghouse to adopt this ordinance, second by Mr. Scooter Keene. Any more discussion? All in favor say yes.
Yes.
That motion, I believe, will carry unanimous as well. Item 14, public hearing and adoption of LP ordinance number 23 to acquire immovable property pursuant to hazard mitigation. Again, this was one we introduced before at 29400 South Ann Drive in Walker, Louisiana. So tonight, let's read by title for the adoption of it.
This is proposed ordinance 23-37, an ordinance to acquire movable property for the parish of Livingston pursuant to the Hazard Mitigation Grant Program, project number FEMA-4277-DR-LA-0131-Livingston Parish. And the property in question is addressed, as you said, as 294 South Ann Drive, Walker, Louisiana.
All right, I hereby declare a public hearing open. Is anyone to speak for or against this particular ordinance? None being, I'll close the public hearing. And Mr. Girlinghouse?
Yeah, it's my district.
Motion
The motion.
by Mr. Girlinghouse to adopt the ordinance, and seconded by Mr. Ard. Is there any more discussion? All in favor say yes.
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 All right, and I believe that motion will probably carry as well, unanimous. Item 15, adopt a resolution, J.F. McCarroll subdivision, and this would be item A, to grant a destiny waiver of re-subdivision of 2 lots into 3 lots, necessitating a waiver of section 125, not to exceed 2.5 lots per acre. Mr. Mack, this is in your district.
Yeah, John, I'm asking you to defer this 2 weeks.
That item will be deferred. Item B, same, you want to do this all,
Yes, that's the same parcel of property.
okay, so we'll defer 15A and B. All
That's
right,
right.
great. Item 16, adopt a resolution to authorize a waiver of section 125-176 definitions to allow second address for a tract of Victor Caldera being located at 28282 Hano Lane. Mr. Mack?
Yeah, I'd like to make the motion that we grant this. I'm not quite sure why we need a waiver. I mean, why can't we just give them a second address? I mean, do you need a waiver for a second address? What?
It's .694 acres, Shane, so depending on what they needed for sewer, it's pretty small.
Defer this in 2 weeks. I need more time to study this.
All right, that's fine. Item 17, adopt a resolution to authorize a waiver of section 125-176 definitions to allow third address for 4-acre tract for Nancy Gohagen being located on Arnold Road. Mr. King, this is in your district?
Yes, sir. They're wanting to just add another address, put their son in a trailer on their property, so I'll make a motion.
Motion by Mr. King. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Delat. Is there any discussion? None being, let's call for the vote. I mean, go ahead and, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
And That's okay, Miss
Jumped on that so
Raven.
quick.
I went through it. That's okay, yeah.
I'm going
that's
to
fine.
abstain from that one.
What's
I'm
that?
just calling it out. I abstained from that one.
Okay, I didn't catch that one. Item 18, adopt a resolution authorizing waiver of section 125-176 allows a third address for Esteban Alvarez, and this is in my district.
I'll make that motion for the chairman.
Motion by Mr. Delat, second by Mr. Girlinghouse. Is any discussion? All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? Don't know yet. Nope, it passes by majority. Item 19, adopt a resolution authorizing a waiver of section 125-176, allowing a third address for tract Herman Severio located at 34730 Weiss Road. Mr. Ard.
Yeah, this is for Mr. Herman's grandson. He's getting married, and it's 1.5 acres. So,
Motion by Mr. Jeff Ard.
Yep.
Second by Mr. Girlinghouse. Any discussion? All in favor say yes.
Yes.
That motion carries. Adopt a resolution authorizing a waiver to place a mobile home in an R2 zoning classification for Earl Willis King III. Is anyone here regarding this? Okay, I guess not.
Yeah, I spoke to them.
Okay,
well,
I think we're going to send this back to the...
Yeah, this should have been to planning anyway.
That's why I was
I don't have an
wondering why it was on
issue with it. There's trailers on the road, but
To do it right.
to do it
needs to go-
correctly,
To
it
change
needs
zoning, we need to do it correctly and go
Yes.
back to planning. So is that a motion to send it to planning?
motion to send it back to planning, yes.
Motion to send it to planning to actually get it rezoned by Mr. Girlinghouse, seconded by,
I'll second it, but I want to make sure that Mr. Mack has this on the ordinance committee about putting mobile homes in R2. Make sure that's on the ordinance.
okay.
Didn't we address that Tuesday?
Yeah, we didn't. It wasn't on.
We didn't.
It wasn't? I told somebody it was.
Yeah.
We mistakenly left it off. It was a
Me
mistake.
too, and I watched it, and it wasn't on
That
there.
wasn't okay. Well, all right.
Get it next time.
Thank you, Tracy, for sending that to, Tracy, thanks for sending that to
Well,
them.
thank you.
I get it.
So we have a motion by Mr. Girlinghouse, second by Mr. Ard, to send it to the Planning Commission, Planning and Zoning Commission. I'm going to call them that. So all in favor say yes?
Yes.
Any opposed? Okay, that motion carries.
All right.
Item 21, to grant a destiny waiver for subdivision of one lot of 0.96 acres into 3 lots. This is in Mr. McMorris's district.
Gerald called me and asked that we grant this waiver. I'll make the motion.
I'll second it for him.
Motion by Mr. Delat, second by Mr. Talbert. Any more discussion? None being, all in favor say yes. All opposed say no.
I abstained from that. That's awfully small.
Well, all right,
Everybody voted. Let's move.
who ain't voted? Okay. It passes 6-2. All right.
That's just little.
Item 22, request for authorization of waivers in Section 66 of Greensburg Land District Parish in Livingston. This is Carter Plantation subdivision in District 8. Mr. Delat, do you give us some information on this?
Again, I'm like Shane, I didn't understand why our administration haven't done this. This is one, we've done this numerous times, and we said after it's been done in the name subdivision, it didn't have to come back to us. I'm going to ask for the waivers. Billy, you got anything you want to add?
Yeah.
But, I mean, we already said this time and time again.
Yeah, I've heard the discussion. I just maybe that.
Talk to the mic, Billy, if you don't
Sorry,
mind.
Billy Taylor, and I've heard that discussion, Mr. Randy, too, up to these meetings. I just don't know if it maybe hadn't made it back to planning, but this is
So the question I want to ask Billy while you're standing up, is there something from this council that we got to give to administration to make this happen? Why does this keep coming before us?
What is the waiver? What are you waiving?
Where the way he's asking for an unapproved to add the lots, and he's also asking to split because it's a named subdivision. Well, we did this before in this subdivision.
Yeah.
So there's already a divide in there, so we don't need to do it
This is Carter
again.
Plantation, y'all, in case you don't know. This is.
Well, there may be circumstances in certain subdivisions across that you want it to come to us before we just approve it. So, I mean, this is a no-brainer, I agree.
I'll second it.
So, I mean.
I agree. I understand what you're saying, too. though,
A
yeah.
motion by Mr. Delat, second by Mr. Mack. Any discussion? All in favor say yes.
Yes.
All right, that motion carries. Randy?
I understand.
Okay, all right.
I don't understand why we don't have the paperwork there.
Originally, this was probably 6 years ago. This is something that, an ordinance that I put in place.
Sure.
And it was to stop it in certain cases, you know. So, but I think if it's already happened, that's more to like a trailer in a named subdivision. I think we might be mixing the two. I mean, I might be wrong.
This was 3 waivers in this thing. So one, you got lots on number of lots on a private servitude. At some point in time, you feel like you get to a certain point, even though depending on the size, it might be 4, it might be 5. There's subdivisions that have 12, 14, 15. At some point in time, though, you feel like there's a tipping point, you know, and so you stop it. So you can't just say because I've granted one waiver of number of lots on a servitude to continue. Also, you address the wetlands in here, which was another thing that's hard to just grant automatically because you granted it one spot when this other lot might actually be a bigger deal. I mean, that's just my thought process in that particular deal.
That's good points. In this particular case, though, these are lots in between lots. Has already been there. The study's already been done. Everything's been done.
Which also leads to the fact that because our administration caught that,
That's
they
a good
brought it
thing.
to us. You know, they just didn't fly by without them catching it. So I
they
think
thought we needed to look at it.
that's right.
That's fine.
So item 23 has been removed. Item 20, we've already picking that up. Item 24, approve revision to the current 2022-23 capital improvement projects. Mr. Taylor, you want to talk about the change that we made into this contract?
Item A is Elm Street, so this is in District 4 and it's pretty close vicinity to Pine Bluff. Pine Bluff had recently got some grant money to where they did a section of the road where they raised that road and repaved it, so we just want to take that section that we would have put on Pine Bluff and put on Elm Street. Elm Street's only 200 and something feet, 275 feet, so we just want to move that footage to this street and add Elm Street to the project.
And item B, and then item B?
Item B, if we want to do the same time, yeah, there's I'll talk with Ms. Sandifer and I've talked with Mr. Sam, and there's been some calls on these streets asking for the parish to look at them. So after talking to Ms. Sandifer and Mr. Sam, we went and looked at them, kind of collectively agreed that it's better to go ahead and put these 2 streets, Shadow Springs and Powell Lane, on the construction list, and we're going to take off Country Manor, and Wellington, and try to get those in next year. So in both of those cases, there's no added footage to the project, and not expected to add any cost to the project as well.
I second both of them.
Can I ask him one question?
Sure, go ahead.
Pertaining to roads?
Well, let's get a motion real quick.
You did. You got it.
Okay, motion. Randy made the motion, second by Mr. Girlinghouse. Go ahead, Scooter.
I got a call today from a gentleman who has a road in my district that's on our overlay list for this year on the construction. I think it was Brown Pelican or something like that off of Dunn. And he wanted to know when it was going to happen. He said, it ain't going to happen this year, is it? I said, well, I don't know. Didn't y'all start on the east side this
Yeah,
this
they
season?
started. They got
Ain't going
District
this way.
9, 8 done. They kind of come around the south side. 6 is just about done. They're moving into 5 and 7, and they got some drainage going on. It's moving to 2 and 3 ahead. So as soon as the drainage comes
Well, I know
by.
last year we
Yeah,
started
so
on the west side.
Yeah, last
so
time started from the
Yep.
west, went to the east, and while they were at the east, they stayed there and moved back to the west.
You have a timeline?
I do have it. I can call
I mean,
you.
I don't need
Yeah.
specifics. Are
Yeah,
they
I
going
can
to
call you tomorrow with the timeline.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll get back to him. I appreciate that.
A question
All right.
when he finishes.
Okay,
Can I just ask Billy a question?
sure.
So Billy, we talked Huntstock Avenue Drive, whatever. They filled that ditch in to make them things so they can. Did y'all figure out how we're going to get in and out of there when they're changing those culverts out?
Yeah, I talked to Mr. Sam about it today. I told him that you were willing to make contact with that property owner. Now, we did research. Beverly Lane does not have a strip to the end of that property, so it touches there. And we're researching right now to see if there's a strip between that property line and the servitude for Wildwood. If there's not a strip there, we can just put a culvert in and have that access as well.
But there's not a shame strip you can put a culvert in. Otherwise, we got to talk to whoever owns the shame strip to see about doing that. Okay.
You know,
And you're going to keep us abreast, and we'll go talk to whoever we need to talk to.
I talked to Mr. Sam about that today.
All right, thank you.
Billy, one question.
Sure, Randy Delay.
On Country Lane, there's a little bit of work that quite didn't get done, and I was told like a month ago they moved out. They was gonna come back and redo it. Huey is well aware of it, and when I called him, he said, "All I can tell you, Mr. Delat, that's what they told me. Well, they haven't been back."
He was aware of them?
Yes.
I get the details from them. A lot of times we get them a few rows built up for a punch list. I'm not sure what that particular issue is. But
It's a punch list item.
Okay, so we'll get on.
All right, we had a motion by Mr. Ladd, second by Mr. Girlinghouse. Let me also add that because Pine Bluff Road and and that money extra is going to go to Elm, so I did talk to the mayor of Denham Springs. He was also excited about that, Jim. So if that's, let you know. If y'all have any problem, let me know. All in favor say yes?
Yes.
Is there any opposed? That motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Billy.
Okay, let's see.
25.
25, yeah. We'll come back. We'll get 8 in a second. Adopt a resolution to add roads for consideration to the priority list. Mr. Girlinghouse was so patient at the last council meeting. I'd like for him to make the motion to add these roads. You want to call them out by name?
Yes, it's South Palmetto Street, Fletcher Lane, Stump Street, Brandon Street, and Dawn Street. These are all within the city limits of Walker. This is
I
requested.
second it.
All right, also,
I'd like to add a road.
Mr. Keene, you have some roads to add.
I forgot. Yeah, Fisher Road.
Fisher Road, all right? And
second that, too.
I've already made a request with the ladies earlier, and I'd like to officially add
Having
3
base
roads that are located inside the city limits of Denham. Dawes, Angie Drive, and Tom Drive, to have those put to the priority road list. So with that being said, is there anything else? Is there a motion?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Blatt, second by Mr. Keene. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Those roads are added to the priority road list.
For consideration.
For
Yeah, for
consideration.
Yeah, that
That's
doesn't mean they're
right.
taking
Right.
action.
It
They
may not
gotta
happen.
Score them, yeah.
But it ain't going to happen if you don't put them on.
That's exactly right.
Let's jump up real quick, y'all, to item number 8. I forgot and missed it. Adopt the minutes of the October 12th meeting. Will somebody please make a motion?
You do.
Motion by Mr.
I'll second it.
Girlinghouse, second by Mr. Ard. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
All right, that motion carries. Item 26, board reappointments. A, Livingston Parish Gas District Number 1, Mr. Mack.
Yeah, Mr. John Helmers has been on that board for a while, and he does an outstanding job, and I just want to reappoint him. I want to make the motion. Second.
Motion by Mr. Mack, second by Mr. Girlinghouse. Any discussion? All in favor say yes.
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 That motion carries. 26B, Gravity Drainage District Number 2, Mr. Talbert.
Sandy, I have one that's been expired for a year, and then I have 2 that are going to expire on November 8th. Do I need to wait till after November 8th?
Don't need to wait, you can do it now.
Okay, so I want to reappoint Mr. Jimmy Davis as secretary. I want to reappoint Mr. Brian Keith Emmerich, and Mr. Brian Clemens, I would like to appoint. I just drew a blank.
Maybe that's,
no idea
maybe
who
that's
you
an
want.
omen.
No, hold on a second. Golly.
Still in the drainage district?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just wait on that one, because I swear, I just drew a blank. It's
So,
crazy.
name the first 2 again.
We're going to reappoint Jimmy Davis and reappoint Brian Keith Emmerich.
Motion by Mr. Talbert, second by Mr. Scooter
And if I
King.
remember the next name, we're going to come back to it in just a second.
Wait,
Yes?
I
Yes.
got some discussion.
Oh.
Yes.
Discussion. On the drainage board, Gary, how long is the appointments for?
They for 4 years,
When is that appointment expired? Why are you making the appointments now?
because they expire this year. One
What?
expires 11/8/23, one expires 11/8/22, and the other expires 11/8/23. They all expire. I'm not outstretching my term.
If you appoint for 4 years, y'all stretching your term.
Actually, you can appoint as long as they expire. You cannot appoint one that's not expired.
That ain't what that's not the statement you made. You said you wasn't going past your term. You are.
Hey, so back in, when I was appointed to the rec board back in, I don't remember, 2012, my term was, there were 4 of us that Jimmy appointed at the same time. Some of them were not expired, and we're not going to expire until after the new councilman set, and that's against the law. As long as they expire within the term of the sitting councilman, he can make the reappointment.
I agree, Gary. I'm just saying it's unusual that you would make an appointment and you take the guy that got elected would have no say-so in this. And the people made that choice. They elected that guy. So what would have to happen, he would have the reasons to take him off.
Well, and you know something, and look, I understand, but guess what? He the councilman-elect, and I'm the councilman until the end of the year.
So what you're trying to say is okay to not pay attention to the voters of our parish is what you're trying to say?
I don't know that the voters of our parish have a problem with gravity 2 at all.
I didn't understand the situation or the urgency. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, one of them's expired, so I made an appointment,
Mr.
and
Mack
I
had
asked.
a question here, or comment or something.
Appreciate that. Okay, so it does expire, but in the past, what we can do is we can let this roll over. He can continue being a board member, and then
I support
until when the new councilman comes on, it would be a better idea to let the new councilman decide, since it's a 4-year appointment, no doubt about that. So I'd be in favor of that if y'all are okay with that. I mean,
I agree with that. Month to month, I've rolled some of mine month to month until I could decide. And with all respect for the incoming councilman, I think that is a fantastic idea, and I can get on board with that. Just roll it forward.
Well, the incoming councilman's got 1, 2, 3 that expire in 2024. He has plenty of time to make appointments.
But they're just 2 months out. He was elected to that. The people,
But
you
I
can't just
understand.
put these people in place.
Why can I not?
Gary,
Why can I not? I mean, I am the city. So why did I come to the meeting tonight?
I don't know.
I mean, I'm the city councilman. I mean, I'm still a councilman until the end of the year.
Gary, wouldn't it be fair to appoint him to the end of the year, though? Wouldn't that be fair?
we would just let it roll over.
I'll tell you what, I made a motion to appoint Jimmy Davis and Brian Keith Emmerich because their terms, Brian's expired, Jimmy Davis is expiring.
Need a chairman?
Well,
and he's the chairman.
He's the chairman.
Mr. Garlinghouse.
I totally agree with what y'all are saying in regards, like I have people that I haven't put back on for the very reasons where I can get rid of them when I want to.
No harm, no foul.
Having said that, this is through the Gravity District, which is kind of exclusively in Gary's district, so it's not really.
No,
for
it's
the
not
parish.
Gary's district, it's the people's district, and the people that voted for another person.
They voted for him to stay in office
Till the end of the year, so make his appointments to the end of the year.
Can you do that?
Can I make a substitute motion to roll it forward? To that these appointments roll
I second the substitute
forward?
motion. I substitute.
We had a substitute motion by Ms. Sandifer to, basically would be take no action on these appointments, and then they would go month by month till the first of the year. Second by Mr. Delat. Let's call for the vote for Ms. Sandifer. Oh, I'm sorry, yes, discussion. I'm sorry, yeah, I just, come up and state your name, though. I think I know who you are.
John Mangus, 13065 Catahoula Drive, Denham Springs. Definitely, I think whoever wins should be able to appoint the people that they want, whether it's a man or a woman for that position. So if you can roll them over, then definitely do that. I mean, a 4-year appointment, if you get saddled with somebody you don't care about or the people aren't happy with, I just think that it's a no-brainer there. I mean, what is the legal, the way I read the Home Rule Charter, that the council gets to appoint their persons.
That's correct.
I agree with you, Mr. Mangus.
It requires a majority vote of the council to appoint any board.
Okay, yeah, that's my point. If you can roll them over, then do that. Yeah. Because if not, then you got to find cause to remove them. So.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a substitute motion by Ms. Sandifer to take no action, basically, or put those appointments to a month by month until the new council comes. Second by Mr. Delat.
Wait a second. I got a question. What did we just do with Shane's appointment? Didn't we just reappoint somebody?
Vote's over.
I know, but
That vote's over.
I mean, I understand, but he wasn't even expired during this
Hey, so
term.
let me explain
He's
that,
not
John.
even
Let me
expired
explain.
during this
One
term.
second, one second.
Actually, no.
I wasn't trying to remove anybody. This guy's been on there. He's been doing a great job for a long period of
I'm not
time.
removing
Okay.
anybody either. I'm reappointing 2 people.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go ahead and,
That's already passed.
let's go ahead and call for the vote on this one, Ms. Sandy.
Wow. Different set of rules. Tracy, that's a different set of rules?
Yeah, it's a different set of rules.
Do you mind calling for the vote?
Mr. Ard?
What are we voting on?
This is on Aaron's substitute motion to allow these appointments to roll over month by month until the next year, until the new
So
council.
by doing that, we just take no action.
That's basically
Just
what we're
goes
doing.
month to
With the-
month. 'Cause I mean, I've got board members that I've done that too, so that Lonnie can take his.
I'm do-
Let Lonnie pick your
I'm doing the
yes.
same thing, Mr. Ard, I'm doing the same thing.
I had to say yes on it.
Oh, yes. All right.
Mr. Wascom?
Yes.
Mr. Girlinghouse?
No.
Mr. Albert?
No.
Mr. King?
No.
Mr. Mack?
There's no way to punch it on this iPad, but I'm voting yes.
Maybe.
Mr. Delat?
Yes.
Ms. Sandifer?
Yes.
Boy, talk about it.
Motion passes, okay.
Can I say
So
something?
that means,
I have an idea.
motion-
I have an idea.
all right,
I do have a suggestion. Just to clarify, we could go back and pick that, we're going to have to amend the agenda, but go back and pick it back up. And I know Shane probably wouldn't mind going month to month.
I don't mind.
If you want to do that, if that's
let's do
fair,
it.
to be fair.
So in 2 weeks, when I do all mine, and I'm still a sitting councilman, and hadn't been, I can do mine?
If you're elected.
No, not if I'm elected.
Why don't you just wait, Scooter?
I don't plan on
Wait.
reappointing anybody for the time I'm here.
I don't either, that's
You
what
know?
I did.
Why are you in such a
So if
horse
we
is
can
raised to a
legally
point.
go back to the agenda.
I mean,
Because we did it two different.
well, Shane,
We're willing to go back and change
It would
it.
have to be a motion to reconsider it. It would have
I'm
to-
going to do that,
Somebody would have
Mr.
to
Moody.
change their vote.
I'm going to do that.
Shane's district, what do you want to do, Shane?
I want to leave it just like it is.
Let's leave it like it is.
I don't.
I don't either. It's
I
two
don't.
different standards, y'all. That ain't
And I
right.
agree, and I agree. So I want to,
The vote is about doing it.
I want to reconsider my vote. I want to reconsider my vote. On the motion, I don't, where was that agenda item? 7, 8?
26A.
26A.
I want to reconsider my vote on that.
It would be a motion to reconsider the item.
So I would make,
Second.
yes,
Motion to reconsider?
yes.
Well, Shane said it was fine, so let's fix it and make it all the same
You want to
standard,
do it,
y'all.
Shane?
It doesn't matter, you got to
Okay,
take a vote
call
on
for the vote to reconsider item 26A.
Mr. Ard?
What was the motion?
Reconsider your appointment.
it. No, it's not, no, it's
It's
not.
Randy's vote.
It's my vote. The motion's only for my vote.
But we can all change our vote, or however we want.
Does anybody else want to reconsider? You can
Yes.
do that.
Yes.
Yep.
I'm confused now.
want to reconsider mine.
What was the vote?
Look, you know what?
It was 8 to 9.
Appropriate motion would be a motion to reconsider, and everybody can vote.
Yes, so
everybody
one,
can reconsider.
That's all we gotta do. And if we fix the problem, it'll be a double standard.
Vote for Shane's item or what?
yeah, that's the right thing to do.
Legal term from Robert Rules of Order that you can reconsider
Yeah.
your vote. You have
Everybody's going to have to
Voice
vote.
vote.
to get a second, okay?
Yeah, it's not a big deal.
You have to be
It's
on
just
the
gonna,
winning team. If you're on the losing team.
then we won't be accused of
You was
using
on
two
the winning
different
team.
standards.
You want to, so that's why I said it's a motion to reconsider
Reconsider.
Shane's item.
Yes,
Okay.
where's my vote is where you got to say
So we're
it.
going to call for the vote.
Yes, so we'll re-vote, everybody.
So we're going to re-vote on Shane's item,
Well, Mr. Chairman, it would have to be a vote on the whether to reconsider.
whether to reconsider.
Okay, vote on whether to reconsider.
Okay, Ms. Sandy, you want to call for the vote?
Mr. Ard? Yes. Mr. Wascom?
Shane, did you want to reconsider this?
It's the right thing to do, brother.
Yes? Yes, I vote yes.
Makes it easy.
Mr. Girlinghouse?
Yes.
Mr. Talbert?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Did you call me? I didn't hear it.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Mr.
I
Mack?
thought you said Shane.
Yes.
Mr. Delat?
No.
Yes,
Ms. Sandifer?
Yes.
All right, now, there's a motion by you, Randy?
okay, that passed. Shane, I'm going to make a motion on Shane's appointment that's month to month, the same way Gary's is. It would end at the end of December. Yes.
Second by?
I'm good with that as long as you reappoint him next year.
I'll take that as a
If
second.
they're good people, they're going back
Second
on
by
the
Mr.
board.
Shane
It's
Mack.
hard to find people, Shane.
Call for the vote, Ms. Sandy.
Mr. Ard?
Yes.
Mr. Wascom?
Yes.
Mr. Girlinghouse?
Yes.
Mr. Talbert?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Mack?
Yeah.
Mr. Delat?
Yes.
Ms. Sandifer?
Yes.
All right, item 27, ratify the resignation of Constable Ward 2, Timothy Ricks, and appoint a replacement of the constable. He resigned, I believe, and he's the constable in 3 districts, I believe, in Mr. Girlinghouse, Mr. Ard, and Mr. McMorris. Do y'all have a replacement for that?
I think they're going to use the constable for but I don't know how the state would allow this, but it always has to be open for someone in the district. But in the meantime, we would have used the one in Gary's district. He's willing to do it, yes.
So,
good. They need to work.
Yeah. Robert Everett, I know Robert.
Yeah, good.
Second.
Cannot appoint him if he does not reside in the district. He can take over at his own will and
Well, that's what we said.
goodness of heart.
So he can,
Yeah.
so no action needs to be taken. He'll just go do it at the justice of peace.
I think we can accept the resignation. All we got to
No,
do
you
is just
don't,
one.
you don't have to. Secretary of State, yeah,
Has
it
already
shouldn't
done
be
it.
ratified. That shouldn't have said that on.
Tracy, will y'all work toward maybe, or get with the new council members for y'all's district?
You only have 20 days.
Look, it's tough to
After
find
that, the
somebody.
governor
It is. They don't pay anything.
Well, anybody wants to be a constable in those districts, now's your chance to step up. All right, so no action will be taken for that. Item 28, discuss large lot subdivision. I believe we're pulling that one from the agenda. Is that correct, Shane? All right, item 29. Before we do that, y'all look at your calendars in front of you. Let's set a date for Christmas, or for the Christmas holidays for the council meeting. Currently, it's scheduled December the 14th and 28th. And December 28th, what is your pleasure regarding and Christmas is on the 25th, which is a Monday.
Oh, we had changed.
So we moved Thanksgiving, November back to the end of November, didn't we?
To the 30th.
So that would mean.
I'm okay with the 7th and the 21st.
That means we'll have 2 council meetings 1 week apart.
Well, we can go to the 14th if y'all want, whatever y'all want to do.
It should simmer down.
Just leave it like it is.
You want to skip the 28th?
Yes. If we skip
We're gonna move it.
If we skip the 28th, you got to adopt a budget, the meeting before the last meeting. That's the problem with skipping the 28th, is the budget's got to be adopted the meeting before the last meeting. Am I right,
Before
Randy?
the last meeting.
No,
Meeting
you
before the
have to
last
adopt the budget the second to last meeting of the year.
Correct.
So
Open
you
to
can still,
November 9th.
yes, you can still have the date you want. The budget's going to have to be adopted on the 14th. The last date doesn't matter. It has to be adopted before the last date.
I'm just saying, if you cancel the 28th,
Then the 14th becomes the last meeting.
then
of
the
year.
14th becomes the last meeting.
No, the charter says that the 2 meetings.
That's right.
And but if you don't have a quorum, or if you can cancel it for any kind. But the first meeting is labeled as the first meeting of the month, and the second meeting is labeled as the second meeting of the month. So regardless if the second meeting is canceled or not, it still has to be done on the first meeting of the month
We want to
and
just
not
have
the
it the
second.
14th and 28th, and if we don't have a quorum on the 28th, we don't have a quorum on the 28th?
That's the way we used to do it.
And without canceling it, that's how we need to do it.
That's the way we used to do it.
Actually, also just not have anything on the agenda.
Well,
I'll be here, so.
For the 28th. Okay, so we will take no action and still leave the dates for
Deer hunt.
December the 14th and December 28th. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, we'll take no action on that. There is one more thing I want to bring up real quick, just to let everyone know. I'm sure most people are aware, especially the people that are here tonight, you are very aware of current events. But just in case, November the 3rd starts early voting for Livingston Parish, and it ends November the 11th. So November 3rd through November 11th will be the early voting at the libraries, and then
Except for Sunday.
save for Sunday.
No, except for Sunday. They don't early vote on Sunday.
Except
the 4th.
Okay, except for Sunday. All right?
You go do council comments?
Don't forget that the library's up for renewal.
Okay. All right, and let's see, I think there was some,
Councilman comments?
yeah,
comments.
Mr. Chris, I believe we pulled that particular item.
Report.
Finance Committee, did you have something, Randy?
no, but we got a meeting coming up because we have to present the budget. That's right. So I don't know the date. You remember the date?
November 9th, I'm hoping,
9th or 8th or whatever
or
it
the
was.
30th. That's the only 2 meetings we have.
But we moved it.
All right.
Then we moved this meeting.
I have something to
Ordinance
say.
Committee, Shane, did you have something? Did you want to?
Well, yeah. So we talked about the carbon sequestration on private property in Livingston Parish. We've got a pretty good ordinance going. We had a lot of good feedback from the people that attended. Appreciate everybody's feedback on that. We also talked about large lot subdivisions, some modifications we're going to be making to that ordinance. I don't have it in front of me, and I can't remember the other two ordinances we talked about. But what I do want to say is that on November 7th, we're going to take those ordinances back up, and we're going to talk about zoning classifications. There's two zoning classification changes that we want to make. One of them is basically, what are we calling it? Unrestricted property or unclassified property. We're going to modify those uses within those classifications the way that they originally should have been written. And then in addition to that, we're going to allow mobile homes within R2. Yeah. So
Just left that out.
November the 7th at 6.
Let's run through. Did you have any more councilman comments you want to say?
I did. I wanted to say October 31st is Halloween, and Bethlehem Baptist Church in Albany, Louisiana is going to be having a truck and treat, and y'all welcome to come by there and have a good time. There's a lot of good people going to be there. So,
Mr. Ard. Good. You are good. Ms. Sandifer.
Yeah, so we have a burn ban that goes back into effect tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Everybody needs to know that.
Please don't
and
burn.
Also, I've been asked by so many people why the settlement, the signed settlement, has not been released to the public. So I would like to ask Sandy if you can release that to the public so that they can read it. Yeah. You good?
Record, huh?
It is, but they don't know how to find it.
I didn't know whether people are asking me. I didn't know whether
So to
just throw
release
it up
that
on
settlement
Facebook
and
or
all
something.
documents related from court.
Okay.
Totally public, okay. I don't have any councilman comments other than I'm glad my election is over.
I'm going to talk about it.
Mr. DeLapp.
I'm going to talk about it. First thing I want to do is thank everyone that participated in the election. Even though it was a low voter turnout, we still got some work to do, guys, in educating our people. Because a low voter turnout means only a few people get a say in this election. We need to have higher voter turnouts. And what it's going to also do, guys, is people that know how government works. We get blamed for things sitting on this that we have no control over. We have no control of that. So part of the low voter turnout is that we have to educate our people. And I just wish there was more civics done in school, even in the churches have to go back, but we have to improve the voter turnout. Having said that, everybody gets competitive in elections, but I want to tell you, everyone has congratulated me on the job that was done, including my opponent, the first 10 minutes, and I want all the people sitting around this council to congratulate. And we go at each other tooth and nail because we're all competitive, we're all fighting for our people. But everyone on here really cares about their district, and they fight hard for their district. And in the audience, it doesn't look like that. It's just that everyone can't be on the same side, guys. And when everyone's not on the same side, that's healthy because you got two different areas. I don't think everybody says when we're going to start healing. I don't think the parish is split as bad as the perception is. You get 2 or 3 little sound bites and it's election time and everybody thinks it's bad. I want to congratulate the winners, the losers, everybody in the race. It takes a lot to do that. Your family sacrifices a lot, and I don't care who you are. If you took that fight, you deserve the gratitude that comes with it. And thank y'all, guys.
Mr. Girlinghouse.
I'm good.
I got one more thing. One more thing. It's a big one. There's a new baby. Caroline had her baby.
Oh, yeah.
And so welcome to the world, Lucy Grace.
What's her name?
Caroline, Lucy Grace.
Lucy Grace.
Caroline is the council clerk.
Yes, sir, Mr. Wascom. So, Immaculate Conception Catholic Church Fair this weekend. It starts tomorrow evening there on Hatchell Lane in Dillon Springs. Please, everybody, come out and enjoy the weekend. And we have the Bubba Harris Halloween trunk or treat at South Park. It's from 6 to 8 Tuesday night. The 31st, if you're in that area, please stop by. We're going to have hot dogs, a fire chief, and we're going to have all kinds of stuff going on. Please bring your kids out. It'll be safe, and it'll be a fun time.
Mr. Tyler.
I'm good, just want to remind everybody about the library election.
All right.
18.
With nothing else, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Jeff Hart, second by Mr. Shane Mack. I hereby declare this meeting adjourned.
Voted.